Hey kids, we're a couple of annoying grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast. That's right, where the podcast explores the American animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest ones when they're available. Why do we do it like that? Well, there are plenty of other podcasts to explore the quote-unquote golden age of The Simpsons, that being seasons 1 through 10. Plus, an entity known as the Wheel of Random has trapped us and forced us to watch the show in such a manner. I say we because I'm one annoyed grunt boy named Steve, and with me, as always, is the other annoyed grunt boy,
Craig!
Well, hello, Craig.
Steve, you sound so silent and like whispering. It's almost like you moved to a new domicile and your wife is in like the same vicinity as you and you are too embarrassed to speak loudly.
That's exactly right. My wife and I just moved to a new apartment. I love the apartment, but I want to be respectful to my new neighbors, and I also don't want my wife to hear the dumb things that I say on this podcast.
Are the walls that thin your neighbors can hear this?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't heard any of them, and it's actually seems pretty well insulated, so it's mostly I just don't want to embarrass myself in front of my wife.
All right, Steve, I'll try not to embarrass you that much, all right?
Alrighty, I appreciate that, Craig. But Craig, one of our listeners isn't so embarrassed to reach out to us because they emailed us. That's right, we have a letter.
It's from our biggest fan and pal, David Gibson. It's okay for us to say his name because he says you can call me David for short if you like. So, all right, David.
Thank you, David.
Oh, should we say D. Gibson maybe?
No, that's too obvious. Maybe David G.
Likely with his last name and first name, there's probably at least a dozen in your local phone book.
That's right.
Before that letter begins, I'm assuming this episode is a reference to the Fast and the Furious, the Disney Plus special that we reviewed a couple episodes ago, right?
I do believe so, yes.
So he writes, if I ever went back to 2002 or 2003, I would tell Nickelodeon not to cancel My Life as a Teenager Robot and then back to 1985 to beat Super Mario Brothers on an old NES. When I read this letter, I was like, because we had just talked about the Treehouse of Horror from last week that we reviewed 23, right? Where Bart has the time machine. I'm like, and we got this email before the episode even dropped. I'm like, wait a minute, did the episode get posted early? Because I saw like, if I went back in time, because we were posing the question, if we went back in time.
Or maybe David really is a time traveler.
I don't remember the Nickelodeon show, Teenage Robot. My Life as a Teenage Robot.
I do remember the animation. It's really cool animation. I didn't watch a lot of it because I think it's just a little bit out of our timeline, but it's a very well-regarded show that was cut too soon. I think it was only about 3 seasons long, and it had a beloved fan base, but not the ratings that it needed.
Cut too soon? Are we talking about my bris?
Oh, you good fault.
Like, you don't have to, David, you have to go back to 1985 to beat Super Mario Brothers.
If you have a Switch, you can do it now.
Did you ever beat the Mario Brothers on NES?
Not on an NES. When I got my Nintendo Switch a few years back, it has the Nintendo Live where you can it's basically like an emulator where it has like a lot of the Nintendo licensed games, and you can play them and you can play Super Mario Brothers. And the cool thing is you can rewind if you die, so you can cheat yourself into victory. But I've never done it, honestly. I always get stuck up in I think seasons episode or level 7, 8 or something like that. How about you, Craig?
No, I have. Because there's an easy way to warp multiple times. So I have beat it on the NES back in the day, but it was Super Mario 2 I never beat. 3 I beat with the help of a friend, but we had the Game Genie. Now, if you don't know what the Game Genie is, it was like a cartridge you put on the cartridge that enabled you to cheat, put cheat codes in, and had a book too that you got with it. So I was able to beat it that way, Mario 3. But Mario 2 I finally beat, this is still 30 years ago, when Game Boy Color came out and they released Super Mario Brother
All-Stars?
All-Stars or Express on the Game Boy Color. And it had a version of Super Mario 2. But the reason I could beat it on that Game Boy is because you had a save feature. And NES has never had a save feature. I mean, some games did, but the Marios didn't. So I was able to save my progress and like, oh shit, I died here. Like, I know how to do these jumps and that sort of thing. Went back and, won that way. So, yeah. There's my Mario. Again, only played the OG trilogy, as I call it. Like, what was the one for Super NES? That's too new for me, Steve. That's too new. Who's this Yoshi I keep hearing about?
I think I beat 2. My hot take is that 2 is I know, first of all, video game nerds, I know it's like Doki Doki Panic or whatever, that it's a skin of another game, but like, I think it's a fun game.
Or as I say on the toilet after eating Taco Bell, Dookie Dookie Panic.
Oh boy. Last problematic thing we'll hear in this whole episode, I'm sure.
Whereas Yoda says before the climactic battle in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, panic, panic, Dooku, Dooku. This has a lightsaber battle with Count Dooku.
Of course.
Steve, say diarrhea really loud.
No. The letter goes on to say, my question for you guys is, why is the episode The Fast and the Furious non-canon? And I guess this, of course, is the episode where Lisa goes back in time to hang out with Burns in the jazz era. And I guess it's just because time travel isn't real, David.
But you just said David might be a time traveler.
That's because he went back in time and changed my mind, because it is a canon episode. I'm so confused.
I thought we kind of discussed on the episode the reason why it's not canon. This is being serious and not dirty. Is because that it starts off with like someone scrolling through a Disney Plus or like a Hulu menu where it's like weird tales, or again I don't remember. It was like alternate realities. That's what I think they click on, alternate realities. So
that makes sense.
I think that's why we consider it non-canon.
Yeah, I think that's a valid answer.
Now, we would consider it canon if it got a lot of women pregnant, had children. That would be a Nick canon.
Exactly.
But thanks again, DG. We won't say his first or last name now. It's just DG.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the email. We appreciate it. And if you have questions or comments, please email us at 138simpsons@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much. And let's go back in time for this week's episode all the way back to March 6, 2005. Craig, what was the number 1 movie in the box office?
Well, it's something that I have to deal with a lot because I'm a new dad, Steve.
The diaper.
No, it's, of course, Pacifier.
Oh.
The Pacifier.
Is this one of your favorite films, Craig?
Have yet to see this Rock film. I've only watched one of his movies, and that was the movie that changed the DC Comics hierarchy, and that, of course, is Black Adam. Nothing can beat Black Adam. Best movie ever.
So powerful, so good. Reinvented his genre.
I assume you've never seen this movie either.
I have not. No, I liked it, first of all, when it was called Mr. Nanny with Hulk Hogan.
I think it's like The Rock is like, I gotta take care of some kids, right? Like, I'm a nanny or something like that. He's probably like, again, don't know this. Is this probably just like Kindergarten Cop? Like he's undercover, probably. And it's gotta watch some kids.
Well, I'll tell you, Craig, he's so undercover that he actually looks a lot like Vin Diesel.
Why did I think The Rock was in this?
I thought he was too. I think he was in The Tooth Fairy.
No, that was Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, jeez.
I think that was the sequel, actually. Is this why maybe like The Rock and Vin Diesel hate each other? It's because assholes like us think they're the same person because they're big, buff, bald dudes?
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think that people probably came up to The Rock and be like, I love you in The Pacifier. And he's like, no, I wasn't in that. I was in another movie.
Glenn Ross, maybe?
No, he was in the Tooth Fairy.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Did you have a synopsis for this movie real quick?
Elite Navy SEAL Shane Wolf, Vin Diesel, can handle just about anything thrown his way, but even the best have their limits. When he fails to keep scientist Howard Plummer safe from assassination, Wolf has a shot at redemption by being assigned to Project Plummer's 5 children. And yeah, so he is like a bodyguard for them. And their pet duck.
Who played Howard Palmer? Was it like the dad from Elf? Alf.
Tate Donovan.
Is that Tate McRae's dad?
Yes, that's how names work. It's
Okay, so that being said, Vin Diesel watches some kids. They obviously had to like do kid things, like go to different stores.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh man, I need two 10 Washingtons, which is 2 25 set pieces, I call them.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's also jamming to his favorite Newton-John song.
It probably would have been easier if it was actually the Tooth Fairy.
Right.
They would have had cavities because they went to the candy shop.
Is that the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100?
That's right. The Candy Shop by 50 Cent featuring the Newton-John herself, Olivia.
I don't think it was actually Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah. Steve, full disclosure. On this day of recording, it's a holiday in only America, I think. Yeah. That Irish holiday that only Americans celebrate. So I'm wearing a little bit of green. How about you?
I too am wearing green on this day.
Yeah.
But, when I look at the streets of America, they remind me of thoughts of sleep that are not what they should be. They're kind of unfixed, if you will, maybe even broken.
What does that mean, Steve?
Why, that means that it's the #1 rock and alternative song, Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day.
Oh, Steve, you rascal. You know I like that tune. So Boulevard, right? It's like another term for a driveway. But it's also like not like hilly, right? It could be like smooth, right?
Right, of course. And, we're talking about broken dreams, but what about that street that you're talking about? What if it was also unfixed, unpaved, if you will?
Well, Steve, I'm a religious man, so I don't know what I would do. Maybe I had some holy water.
So you would say that you would bless the broken road.
Yeah.
Which leads us to
You
our
rascal.
#1 country song, Bless the Broken Road by Rascal Flatts.
That's a song that's, I would say, wicked or like defying country.
Yeah, I'd say that it's pretty well known, pretty well liked. If it were a high school student, say, it would be like the cheerleader or the quarterback or, the valedictorian.
How would Ariana Grande state it from the movie Wicked?
Oh, that it's popular. That's right. The #1 hot dance and electric song is Popular by Darren Hayes.
Now, Darren Hayes also sounds like he should be a country singer.
Yeah, it does. And actually, Rascal Flatts almost sounds like more like an electronic singer, but it doesn't matter. All right, let's get to this week's episode, entitled
Steve's done with us.
On a Clear Day, I Can't See My Sister, in which Lisa does whatever little sister dreams of. She gets a restraining order against her brother. Bart is forced to live in the back garden, but soon realizes the joy of communing with nature, which is not a good explanation of this episode, but we'll find out as we watch it.
Yeah. I think it's maybe, I'm predicting like a scene, if that, in the back garden. Back garden. Jesus. All right. Steve, I'm going to try to embarrass you some more on this podcast because your wife is sitting there patiently waiting for you to end everything.
And how? She doesn't first. All right. All right. We'll watch the episode and we'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're talking about On a Clear Day, I Can't See My Sister, the 11th episode of the 16th season. It is episode 346 in the show's run. It originally aired on March 6, 2005. Your nerd code is GABF05. It was written by Jeff Westbrook, directed by Bob Anderson, and your showrunner is Al Jean.
All right, good old Jeffy Westbrook, the WGA award winner, Jeff Westbrook, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he makes his family call him. I'm assuming. Steve, this is Jeff's very first episode that he ever wrote.
Wow.
We have reviewed 15 of his, and he's got, as of this recording, 25 episodes. I imagine he'll write some more.
Yeah, I think he actually has some that have not been released for season 36, which someday we'll get to.
They're behind the paywall.
Mm-hmm, exactly. You need the Patreon of The Simpsons.
I mean, it's going to be a time where that is just the thing, right? Like we have right now, we got your Disney Pluses, your Paramount Pluses, your Hulu Pluses. I think they're all pluses, right?
I assume so, yeah.
Like Disney came up with Disney Plus, right? They were the first to have the plus.
Yes.
Like if Disney just said, we're going to have Disney Come, and that's what it's called. Not Plus. With every other thing. Be like, Amazon coming, Paramount coming.
And Lifetime drool.
I mean, would you be open to that? Like, you just have to subscribe like monthly to your favorite show. I mean, that would like really eliminate Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it. I would never watch new shows ever again.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why, like, for the longest time, we always wanted cable to have, here, pay $20 a month and you get 20 channels to choose from. And we love that idea. But the problem is, like, there's so many other shows, like, will just be gone. These networks that, produce a lot of stuff, but, I don't know if they have enough viewers. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess kind of at this point, we do pay for, like, our favorite shows, like Apple TV, right? Like, you're kind of just paying for Severance or Ted Lasso, or, Ted Lasso's done. So, like,
oh, it's actually coming back for a 4th season. But yeah, you're right. I think that for each channel, I watch 1, maybe 2 shows at a time. And then I move on to another channel and I watch 1 or 2 shows. And it's just a cycle. Yeah. So we're basically there now.
I'm just waiting for like that day where like I was caught up with all of my stories and I just brought up Severance because I haven't watched Severance. And so everyone, tells you to watch Severance like you yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally started a new show, but I wanted to have like that time where I'm like, I finished everything. Like the show's end, like no more episodes. And I can continue to watch something new. And then like I'm free from the shackles of TV. And unfortunately, a show like The Simpsons, it's not going to happen.
So we're stuck. We're like, it's weighing us down.
That's what America is, man. Like we're just glued to the TV. Our president, current president, like that's all he cares about is TV and TV ratings and like just saying something every day just so he can be on TV.
Just so we can talk about him a little bit more.
I won't say who the president is at this point of the record because you might be listening in the future, but let's just say he was on an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's right. Hugh Hefner, back from the dead.
But hey, we're talking about Jeffy Westy Brookie. I'm sure he doesn't want to be calling that, and I'm probably going to be getting a call from his lawyer soon. But look, Steve, we've reviewed, like I said, 14, like the episode The Wettest Stories Ever Told, or Kill Gills, Volume 1 and 2, No Lone Again Naturally, Pranks and Greens, The Deadliest Catch, Ned and Edna's Blend Agenda. He likes Ned and Edna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we get to see Edna and Skinner a little bit in this episode. I miss True. Wreck a Relationship, Let's Go Fight Clute. One of our favorite episodes, The Road to Cincinnati. Ah, yes, girls. Just trying to have fun. Pingo, Clown, The Board of Education, Treehouse of Horror 34.
Good job.
And then finally, Shoddy Heat. So that was our last episode, which oddly enough aired on Halloween, but it wasn't a Halloween episode.
Yeah, it was spooky though, because stuff happened.
And we have a few more episodes of his that we haven't reviewed. I'm looking forward to Dairy Queen because I want to know if it's about a blizzard or subpar hamburger.
Probably a subpar hamburger and weird toast that's too big.
Right, because if you get like chicken strips, you get chicken strips, fries, and toast, which is like, that is a carb-heavy meal, guys.
It's a nap waiting to happen.
Like, do you need the toast with fries and the breaded chicken?
I love my carbs, but I don't think so. Like, it's like breading on breading on breading.
Like, if you go to a diner, if you get like a combo meal or combo breakfast, and you get like pancakes with eggs and meat, they're like, do you want a side of toast with that? You don't do that, right?
Yeah, I normally do that, but like, yeah, you don't need it.
So you have pancakes and bread?
Yeah, like bread on bread.
You can't do that, Steve. You can't do that.
Do what I want. I'm a free man.
My diner meal is usually the omelet. I'm a big omelet fan. And I probably I usually get like the toast, like a sourdough or whole wheat.
I do like a sourdough.
But I don't really do the pancakes with I don't know. I just feel like guilty. Like I shouldn't be doing that. Like if you get the omelet, because it always comes with like your choice of pancakes, bread, or biscuit.
I'll always go for a biscuit if it's an option.
See, I think I go for toast over biscuit.
I just figure I can make toast easy at home.
Well, I can make eggs over easy at home, Steve, but I still get them.
As I get older, I am skeptical of breakfast in restaurants.
But how do they get the omelet so perfect? I can't do a perfect omelet at home.
And now you need a mortgage just to get those eggs.
But hey, we can't talk about the economy or presidents. We have to talk about Simpsons, Steve. So let's just do that, okay?
Alrighty, and we start with a chalkboard gag that reads, "Beer in a milk carton is not milk." And I know that you like to guess about how this came to be, and I have a theory. If you do too, feel free to share.
Oh, no, you do it.
Bart sees Homer, drinking Duff every night, and he wants to try it himself, but he obviously can't do it at home because he'd get in trouble. So I think he emptied a milk carton, brought it home, dumped a Duff in there, and then brought it to school the next day. Edna saw it, and she's like, no, beer in that carton is not milk. That's what I figured.
My theory was a lot different.
Okay, do share.
I think he punched Edna in the jugular.
Oh,
That was it.
okay, that's fair. And then she just kind of like made some nonsense.
I think yours is right. Would you drink, I know you don't drink anymore, but if I emptied a milk carton and put beer in it, would you drink it?
Only if it was like a stout, like a milk stout. But like the idea of like a golden amber, like a Budweiser or a Corona from a milk carton is disgusting. Like it's cloudy now and like, ugh.
You just remind me, I gotta go back to my stripper DJ job. Next on the stage, we got Golden Amber.
Cloudy milk.
Cloudy milk is usually at the start of the shift at like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Where the warehouse workers go to take their lunch.
Hmm.
Hey, Steve, we have a couch gag, and I swear we've seen this before, right? It's a very long one.
Yeah, it's one of the longer ones. And for me, like, it always reminds me of syndication. Like, when I'd watch this on Fox at like 7:30 or whatever in reruns, I feel like this was one that I always saw a lot.
It was this one, and then also the circus do the can, and everyone comes up, and the elephants are there. Yeah. Well, it's a parody of a 77 short film called Powers of 10, and we've probably described this before on the episode of The Ziff Who Came to Dinner. Did we review that one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll be quick here. We zoom out of the house. We go to the neighborhood and the United States and just the whole world, right? We get a shot of King Kodos. And so we get so many stars, and they fill the screen and condense the Milky Way and other galaxies, atoms, molecular structures, DNA, and all the stuff back to a blank yellow expanse, which is revealed to be Homer's bald head. And he turns into the couch, seeing Homer stares blankly for a moment and utters, cool. But on the Ziff Who Came to Dinner, Homer said, wow, rather than cool. So slight variation, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yes, and then it was used a third time in season 19, episode 9, Eternal Moonshine of the Simpsons Mind, and that one, Homer says, weird.
All right.
Yeah, it is funny, like, watching this, and you see Homer say cool, and it really doesn't match up.
Like, yeah.
It's just kind of funny. All right, well, our episode begins, as it always does, outside of Springfield Elementary in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. to be exact. Principal Skinner welcomes the sleepy students, saying that in a mere 5 hours, they'll see Springfield's most exciting glacier, Springfield Glacier.
I feel like this should be against the law, keeping kids or taking kids out of their home at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it seems pretty bad. Like, I never had like an early morning field trip like this, but I feel like maybe with band, you had to ever do that?
Well, I mean, I was in zero period in high school, which was like you had to be there at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I
were the girls up until about age 12. 0 period.
Oh, God damn it. If you had to get to the school early, it was never 3 a.m.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think any parents would allow that kind of shit because the parents have to get up then.
Exactly, yeah.
That's like the time when Homer gets home from Moe's. So he probably was like, fine, drunk drives the kids to school. Oh, that would have been a good punch up. They should have had like Homer crash, drunk driving crashes into school. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's a little bleak.
Kids don't drink and drive. So Seymour hopes the kids are wearing the appropriate attire, which leads to Nelson to unzip his vest. It's kind of weird to see it zipped up. Isn't that right?
It doesn't look like a normal vest because I don't imagine it zipping. I imagine it has like 3 buttons with one of the buttons missing in my head.
Are you thinking it's like a waistcoat for like a suit?
I assumed it was like a denim jacket with like the sleeves cut off.
Yeah. Like a
or like a 3-piece suit.
Well, he's wearing a shirt. This is Glacier Suck t-shirt, and just a simple font. I think that would be great on our TeePublic site, tpublic.com /user/boys. I don't want to say we're gonna have the Glacier Suck up there. I don't think that will be a selling point for our store, but very easy to make.
It is easy to make, but I figured I know that we have the Peanuts and Kill, and we're a little niche, but that might be even a little niche for us.
Well, Nelson thinks it is wicked relevant, which is also funny. He uses the term wicked. So is Nelson really from Boston?
Maybe.
Or is this Springfield, Massachusetts?
Oh, there is one of those.
You know, we haven't reviewed it yet because technically it's not a Simpsons episode, but there is the episode where Family Guy meets the Simpsons, right? So Quahog isn't too far from Massachusetts, right?
That's true. Just a hop, skip, and a jump. So yeah, maybe all along you were on the wrong coast.
Well, it's relevant, wicked relevant, as Nelson said, because it's part of his Things Suck clothing line. Maybe that's it. We don't have a Things Suck clothing line, except for all our clothes.
Yeah, I think the one that says 138 Simpsons podcast, that's the part of the thing sucked.
Yeah, that's true.
Line.
So Skinner may disagree with the message on Nelson's shirt, but he's happy for any sort of glacier awareness.
Well, with a busword to adventure, he leads the kids aboard to see the natural wonder. As Lisa hops on the bus, Bart asks if he's ready for her trip, and Lisa excitedly says that she is, and then Bart proceeds to extend his foot, tripping his sister, then saying, "See you next fall." Classic.
Glacier castles.
Lisa gets back on her feet, commenting that Bart makes the same joke every field trip, and Bart blames his tenure in the business for repeating the same gag, and then trips Lisa a second time, once again saying, "See you next fall." So, every kid, if anybody falls, have a nice trip, see you next fall. Like, it's classic kid stuff.
Let's say you're walking down the street as an adult, as the 53-year-old man you are now, and you just see let's say like a 82-year-old woman in a walker all of a sudden trips. And then you say, "Nice trip, see you next fall." Is that appropriate?
No, because she probably won't see next fall, because she's going to die soon.
If not from that fall.
Exactly.
Students ride up a stony mountain until they reach a fork in the road. Have you ever reached a spoon in the road, Steve?
No, a knife one time, and a chopstick, but not a spoon.
So on the left is the Springfield Glacier, and on the right is the Springfield Glacier Outlet Mall. So as the bus heads left towards its expected destination, the kids moan in disappointment. Steve, should kids moan in disappointment with you?
Would it be better if they moan in excitement?
Steve, how would that sound?
Well, I mean, I think it would sound like Tony Danza, because he knows a moan at disappointment.
So inside of the school bus, Skinner has planned a series of discussion topics to pass the time with Mrs. Krabappel. So the first, and probably only, topic is the fact that he's still in love with her. He may want to discuss this further, but Edna has moved on, saying that their romance belongs in the history books, and there's nothing worth highlighting. Despite her denial, Seymour refers to himself as the Skin Man, adding that he doesn't give up so easily. That's a fun bit of just him referring to himself as the Skin Man.
I'm the Skin Man. So the school bus swerves, and Otto struggles to keep control of the vehicle on the icy roads. So he speeds through turn after turn, even jumping from one road to another. Seymour is not worried about the condition, at least until the indemnity papers fly out the window. He demands that Otto stop the bus and use the chains. And this results in the bus slowly ascending up the mountain as it is pulled by the chains, which are being pulled by the students, which is a pretty funny gag.
Uter mentions that he feels as though he's in the 1982 Werner Herzog film, Fitzcarraldo. Nelson feels that the Klaus Kinski project is about an Irish rubber baron who wants to move a steamship across the Peruvian Andes, is flawed and giving the exchange student a punch. So aside from Nelson's criticism, the West German film was also one of the most dangerous movies ever made, causing several injuries and death to the locals who worked on the crew.
I've never seen the movie, but I did a little bit of research, and it sounds like a lot of bad stuff happened.
Was there a moment where Werner Herzog went in front of the camera and said, "I would like to see the baby"?
Yes.
That's a reference to Star Wars Mandalorian, Steve. We gotta get the fans to know that we know what a Star Wars is.
Of course, yeah. It's also on Disney Plus streaming now.
Disney Come, Steve. Disney Come.
Oh, yes, Disney Come.
We're renaming it on this podcast.
Yes. So once the class finally arrives at its destination, Principal Skinner welcomes the students to behold the majesty of Springfield Glacier. He asks them to crane their neck in skyward to witness the icy glory. And then the camera zooms out to show that it's actually a photo of the glacier, and the actual glacier is merely a block of ice in the middle of a small body of water. Lisa is shocked and believes she knows what occurred, though a local park ranger denies her reality.
What happened to the glacier? It's nearly melted.
This must be due to global warming.
Young lady, the federal government's position on global warming is that it does not exist. This glacier's doing just fine.
No, it isn't. It's a lump of slush. Look at it.
I have a little girl just like you at home. That's where she stays. At home.
Climate change denier. 20 years ago, Steve. We're still the same. You believe that we're not a political podcast, but still 20 years later, we were talking about this before we were born. Like, not you and I talking about this, but America was talking about global warming back in, 70s?
Yeah.
And no one knew then.
And it's still, clearly a thing. And it's sad, too, that a park ranger would deny it.
Well, I mean, Steve, again, not a political podcast, but pretty soon our new park rangers will be very much against everything that's about science.
Yeah, I think that they're going to hire the New York Rangers to take care of the park.
The shitty hockey team?
Exactly. They're largely Russian, so...
They're large and Russian, is that what you meant?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got to look at the standings with the Rangers. They're probably pretty good. They're fourth in the Metropolitan Division out of, 5?
Yeah, I think so.
As the kids enjoy the beauty of nature, Homer and Marge take in the pleasures of capitalism, visiting Sprawl-Mart, which has a sign outside of the megastore that points out is not a parody of Walmart. I mean, it's probably a parody of Kmart, right? At the time, 2005, we still had Kmart. Yeah. Homer loves the retailer as it sells so many things, and so many of those things, such as barber poles, Mona Lisa paintings, and Pyramid of Puppies. Now, 2005, we didn't really have Walmarts growing up.
No, I don't think I knew what it was when they, I think I kind of remember this episode from when it was live, and I don't think I knew what a Walmart really was.
Because we grew up with it wasn't Kroger owned at the time, but there was a regional store in Oregon and Washington, and I don't know, maybe, it's called Fred Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
As kids, or not as kids, but as families, we shop there because it was one-stop shop. You can get your roast and your vegetables, your medications, pair of pants, a TV, and a couch. Yes, all in the same store. So we knew that and that's Walmart now. But so we didn't really get Walmarts probably till maybe in this area, maybe around the 2000s, late 80s maybe.
Yeah, I feel like probably, yeah, you're probably right. Probably around this time when this episode aired, I feel like at that time Walmart really became a cultural thing and across the nation. But yeah, it was really, Fred Meyer was a big deal in my family. I think I had 3 family members who worked there. And I love Fred Meyer's, and now it's really fallen off. It's depressing how bad it is now.
Yeah, not a political podcast, but or capitalism podcast. But when Kroger bought it, it was just now just assimilating to Kroger. Kroger's a bad company, but I give my money to them, so here we are. I mean,
yeah,
you can't do much in this country without 4 companies that you have to give money to. It's a sad thing.
Again, not a political or anti-capitalist podcast, but I think trying to shame people, and I've been guilty of it in my life, but shaming people for what they do when capitalism is really the problem and we're all trapped in it, it's not really helpful.
And that's kind of what I was getting to the point. It's I remember when Walmarts came, and if you said to someone you went to Walmart in this area, they shamed you because oh, you're a big corporate. You should be shopping at the local Fred Meyer's or Target. This is a big corporation. But there's always a stigma with Walmart, only the white trash poor people shop at Walmart, and then your elite people shop at Target.
It's the same store.
Oh, the same shit. Yeah. We go to Walmart, we get our baby, wipes, and all that stuff, because it's same at the Target, but it's going to cost us a couple of dollars less. Of course, we're going to get that there.
Yeah, because it just lacks the slightly better branding, but it's the same product.
Right. Our Walmart grocery stores have way better hot sauces than my Kroger's or Safeway's, okay?
It's true.
So there you go. I'm not ashamed to say I would shop at a Sprawl-Mart.
I think I would too. Well, Homer and Marge, they enter the store and are greeted by Abe, who asks if they need a cart or a basket. And Marge is surprised to see her father-in-law calling him a great grater, intending to say great greeter, while her spoonerism leads her to wonder if she's the one with senility, just like Grandpa. And with an awkward laugh, she asks for a cart, and Abe is happy to oblige.
When I was watching this, I got scared for a second because I thought, wait a minute, I remember this greet grader bit, and I thought we talked about this.
Oh no.
Did we watch this already? And I remember, didn't Abe in an episode already be a greeter at a Sprawl-Mart? Or did I maybe just watched a rerun that was in the background on FXX, and maybe I this was on, and that's why I'm thinking of it?
I do know that Abe has been a Sprawl-Mart employee before this. Let's see. I think in a previous episode, Abe's worked in there, and I think he has subsequently. And I think that Marge has done that joke, maybe not Greek Raider, but like a similar thing before. So I think they're kind of playing on familiar territory here.
Bart already said it too with the bus, with the See You Next Fall. It's like, after all these years, you're bound to see the same jokes again, or he's about to do the same thing again. I always wonder if that was a reference to The Simpsons. Like, after 16 years when this show's been on, you're bound to see the same jokes. Because I guess we'll get into it later. But like, yeah, maybe that was the point.
I think so.
All right. Well, Abe goes to grab a cart, but finds that it is stuck in the line of other carts. So with a mighty yank, he frees the cart. But the momentum of the pull causes the carts to fly back and push Abe in it. Steve, how's your mighty yanks these days?
Not so mighty anymore.
So looking ahead, Grandpa shouts, "Gnomes!" as he sees that he is about to crash into a display of porcelain lawn gnomes. After a collision, Homer and Marge run to Abe to make sure he's okay. So confusing one of the lifeless gnomes for his father, Homer says that he'll miss his cap, his walking stick, and his plaster pace. So Abe calls Homer an idiot and informs him that he's on the ground.
Well, while Homer worries about the whereabouts of his father's base, Abe is concerned about greeting the customers. Homer thinks these shoppers will be fine, but Abe points out just how helpless they really are. As a man repeatedly walks into a wall next to the exit, a woman sits on her knees, emptying the contents of her purse onto the ground, and another woman just stands there crying. So Abe hands Homer his Sprawl-Mart vest, asking that he make him proud, or at the very least, a little less ashamed.
So over at the Springfield Glacier gift shop, Millhouse scores a sweet postcard full of Glacier facts, hoping that the mail will cause his Nana to be like, "No way." Could you imagine his Italian grandmother saying "no way"?
It's a no way.
Thank you for putting that image in our mind, Steve. Skinner is looking to exchange a beach towel that he purchased at a different wilderness location. So he unfurls the towel to reveal that it says, "I got wood," at Sequoia National Park. Seymour admits that it took him too long to become aware of the implied tumescence.
Which, of course, is being or becoming swollen, especially as a result of sexual arousal. So the children look at a display of the Ice Age family life. No, not the movie starring John Leguizamo, which depicts a father, mother, and child all in their traditional cape-person tunics, fighting off a roaring polar bear. Lisa asks aloud if what those pre-modern warriors would say if they could speak, and Bart directs her to a message on the wall showing a crude drawing of her with stink lines and the words, "Lisa smells" below. And the kids all laugh, and Kearney is impressed that Bart actually carved the image into the rock. So Bart invites the bully to make a rubbing, not that kind, and Kearney does, using a charcoal crayon to transfer the etching onto paper.
Did you think at first when Bart says make a rubbing, he was just going to grab Bart and rub his face in it?
I didn't, but that's funny.
In the charcoal, not his crotch.
Right, of course.
Now you're thinking of Kearney taking Bart and rubbing his crotch, right?
Like just his face, and yeah. That's all I can tell you now. That's a t-shirt.
And you like what you see. Yeah, that's the t-shirt. Did we come up with the idea of animated GIF t-shirts a few years ago? Wearing t-shirts that animated GIF.
Still working on that technology.
Hey, maybe we can distract Elon Musk.
Oh, well, that's smart.
Yeah. He can think about it when he's on Mars. Homer takes to his new job as greeter immediately, offering specialized greetings for squeaky voice teen, Bumblebee Man, and Rabbi Hyman Christovsky. And as we'll hear in this clip, the Sprawl-Mart manager is pleased.
Welcome to Sprawl-Mart. Pimple cream in aisle 5. Buenos nachos. Ask about our senior discount. Hey, Rabbi, Jesus loves you. Just kidding.
Son, you are on fire. 1,000,000 times better than that worthless old coot you replaced.
That coot happens to be my father. Please continue.
How would you like to be a full-time Sprawl-Mart greeter?
Is there a chance for advancement?
No.
Woohoo! No pressure!
Yeah, a couple of things that I liked when, someone insults someone's parent, like his father. That happens to be my father. He always get defensive, but then Homer's just like, continue, doesn't care. And then I thought if you were in a job interview and you said, "Is there a chance for advancement?" and they said no, you'd be like, "Yes."
Where I'm at today. Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst thing, This is how we're not go-getters.
Why go get when you gone halves?
You have like a perfect routine and they're like, hey, do you want to be promoted? Here's $5 more, but you'll have way more responsibilities. It's like,
Can't I just wallow in my rut? The best rut I have.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So back at the glacier, Park Ranger Johnson shows Skinner and Krabappel an ice mummy, saying the Ice Age female was most likely alone when she fell into the crevasse. Seymour uses the image as an opportunity to point out how terrible it would be for a woman to meet such a fate, whether she's from the Ice Age or even the modern day.
So hearing this, Edna wants to show Seymour just the degree in which she is over their relationship. So pointing to Ranger Johnson, saying that he's not Seymour, and then invites her ex to watch as she asks if there's a Mrs. Park Ranger Johnson. So the Ranger replies that he's married to the glacier, but that is an open marriage. And it tells him to bring it on, fool, and they begin to make out. Much to Skinner's dismay, eager to show that he is also moved on, Seymour lustfully kisses that ice mummy, telling the preserved cave woman to just play along. This is dumb, but one of my favorite scenes, I think.
Sad and creepy, and also, I think it shows that Ranger Johnson is his marriage to the glacier is open because he does have a daughter, as we learned.
Yeah. Wait, so is she his daughter half glacier?
Maybe she is. I mean,
wait a minute, Steve. This isn't a dirty joke.
Okay.
Is his daughter Killer Frost from the DC universe?
Oh.
One of, I think, Flash's villains.
Is he the one in the hoodie?
No, that's Captain Cold. I think he's got a couple cold cases, Steve, which is a funny joke because he's a CSI type of guy.
That's right. Yeah, I get that.
Good old Barry Allen. That's like the most dorkiest superhero name.
Yeah, but like usually they're like, like Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, but Barry Allen, they couldn't even like go Barry Ballin.
Or Barry Allen.
That's better.
Yeah, what's up with Superman? Like, all of his people in his life are all LLs. You notice that? That's probably a joke. Is this a Seinfeld bit?
I think it is. And I think actually Stan Lee actually answered this question because he's bad at remembering things. So he did it just so he wouldn't forget that Peter Parker's name is Peter Parker. He can always remember the PP.
But can he smell the poo-poo?
Oh.
All right.
Speaking of, so using the skills he learned in Radio Bart from Season 3, Bart sneaks a walkie-talkie into Lisa's backpack just as she's about to make an impassioned, Greta Thunberg-like plea to her fellow students who are enjoying their lunch in this clip.
Listen, people. How can you stand there eating snacks and being children when the world's glaciers are vanishing? We have to do something about it. Glaciers are nature's alarm clock, and it's time for us to wake up. Can there be any doubt that the culprit is greenhouse gas produced by man?
The only gas is coming from Lisa's butt.
People, please, I'm talking about toxic vapors. Emanations. Miasmas.
Hey, whoever's doing that, get off the frequency.
We're combing the woods. There's a killer loose out here. I'll let him do it, Chief. It lightens the mood. Oh, my God! That used to be a face!
Bart!
Lisa flings the walkie-talkie at Bart, who ducks to avoid hitting it in the head. In response, Bart throws a snowball at Lisa, which hits her, sending her into the water behind her. So she cries that she's sinking into the lake. Shirtless Ranger Johnson runs onto the scene, fresh from sex with Edna Krabappel, pulling up his suspenders. He corrects Lisa, saying that she's walking on the glacier. Lisa replies, whatever, as she sinks into what was once a glacier.
So as she pops up from the water with an amphibian on her head, Bart tells the students to check it out. That frog has a nerd on its butt. The students and Ranger Johnson laugh at Lisa. Full of anger, she walks out of the water with seaweed on her head. And later on the bus ride home, she removes the kelp and confronts her brother, who is indifferent to her plight. So Lisa takes action, which lands Bart behind bars.
Bart, you are the meanest, nastiest little boy that ever lived.
Hey, there's a dog in the next car looking at me. Hey, dog.
You don't even care how upset I am. But this time, you have gone too far.
What are you gonna do? Tell Mom and Dad? They're powerless figureheads.
You'll see. Oh, you will see.
Good. Good morning, world. Eat my shorts.
There'll be no shorts eaten today, young man. Bart Simpson, this is a restraining order. From now on, you must stay at least 20 feet away from your sister.
Restraining order? Bull spit. No piece of paper keeps me from wailing on my sister.
So, you see what happens when you don't obey your restraining order?
Yes, Chief Wiggum.
And Snake, do you see what happens when you kidnap the president?
Oh, yes, Chief Wiggum.
And Lou, do you see what happens when my coffee comes back cold?
Chief, you ordered an iced coffee.
No, I said a nice coffee. Nice.
I want a nice coffee.
Wait till the end of the podcast, Steve. I like when Bart just uses old terms like bull sweat.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute.
I also really liked his the movement of him about to punch his sister, him winding up like a 20s boxer.
Yeah, that's bull sweat. Again, not a political podcast, but Snake, Jailbird, we need you, buddy.
Exactly. And also, Lisa was talking about Homer and Marge being powerless figureheads. You know who else is powerless figureheads? The Democrats. Again, not a political podcast.
So Marge is stunned that Lisa would put out a restraining order against her own brother. Lisa says she did, in fact, do that. And that while she was there, she also received a bench warrant for Homer's arrest as well. And Homer's just like, damn it. And Homer asked Chief Wiggum how they are supposed to live as a family with kids constantly separated.
Well, proving to be as effective as any other police officer, Wiggum tells The Simpsons that he doesn't make laws, he just something with them. He then plays a video that should help explain things.
Get out of my dreams, and also out of my car. A guide to your restraining order.
Hi, I'm Gary Busey. I'm here to explain about restraining orders. The answers to all your questions are in this video.
So you've got a restraining order.
Meet Joe. Last name Spaghettio. One night Joe went to a party and fell in love with a girl named Mary. Oh, man, I've been there. At first, Joe felt discouraged, but then he remembered what his father taught him. Never say die. Quitters never prosper, and no means yes.
What do you feel about this scene in today's lenses?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's in today's lenses is a little weird, and this is definitely one of them.
The only thing I liked from this clip is Joe Spaghettio. That's just a funny name.
It's really funny, yeah. And I'm trying to remember, we'll mention it in a moment. Well, Gary Busey was also charged with sexual harassment in 2018. But at this time, was he just a fun weirdo? Or where were we at with Gary Busey in 2005? I don't even know.
Here, I always get Gary Busey and Nick Nolte.
I was just going to say that. No, I was going to say the exact same thing.
But Nick Nolte, okay. Gary Busey, not okay.
Nick Nolte got arrested too, right?
Look, wasn't Nick Nolte in The Mandalorian? Star Wars, Steve?
Oh, yeah, he was.
I think he just did a voice for one of those Ugnaughts. He kept saying, say that away. Can't say Ugnaught? Yeah. Look, Steve, based on my 23andMe, I'm 17% Ugnaught.
Fair enough. Okay.
Well, he had motorcycle accidents, right? Right after he did the Richie Valens. No, not Richie Valens. Buddy Holly, right? Yeah. He was the Big Bopper, which, again, 80s, blackface, it's fine. No. He did the, Buddy Holly movie, and then got into a car accident, or a motorcycle accident, right? So his noggin's not quite,
yeah, he was never quite right.
Right. But does he have all these acronyms? He does this thing where you'd be meat. When I think of meat, it means mostly earth, animal, titties. That's what meat is.
Exactly. He walked so Charlie Sheen could run.
He kind of demeans himself, but is totally fine doing it. Yeah, I'm a scumbag, and this is why.
Yeah, it's he doesn't know if he's in. I don't know if he's in on the joke or not, but it's kind of fun.
I feel even in 2005, when you say "and no" means yes, even then it was kind of we were making that joke, but it's that's not cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. Anyways, so the instruction video goes on to show Joe Spaghettio continuing to offer a non-consensual affection towards Mary, singing outside of her window with the mariachi band playing, and popping up at a casket at a funeral of Mary's deceased relative, whose body is also propped over the wall, by the way, and writing "Marry Me" in lipstick on the bathroom mirror while Mary showers. Which Even though it's problematic, but isn't that how you propose to your wife?
Yeah, that's right. Although I didn't use lipstick.
Did you use Disney cum?
I did. Made the Mickey ears and everything. Took me a long time. Had to hold off for like 2 weeks. So Gary Busey goes on to say that Mary got a restraining order against Joe. And after a very long and very creepy maniacal laugh, Gary shows police hitting Joe with a club and dragging him out of the courtroom. So the star of the Buddy Holly story goes on to say that Joe isn't allowed to come within 500 feet of Mary, and he's also barred from calling her or burning his name in gas on her lawn. So the Predator 2 actor goes on to make a grand admission, and back in the Simpsons household, Bart is given a tool to help him obey the law.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Joe is me, and Mary is a composite of 12 different women and a small independent film company, all of whom couldn't deal with me because I'm too real.
I always hoped we wouldn't be one of those restraining order families.
How am I supposed to know if I'm 20 feet away?
Don't worry, son. No one's gonna make you count to 20. I have a more humane solution. This 20-foot pole will make Bart's restraining order oh so easy to enforce. And I used my Sprawl-Mart employee discount to buy this fancy pole cover. It'll keep your pole looking great. Poke after poke after poke.
Poke. Ah! Hey, this really works.
Homer, why did you put the screwdriver at the end?
Show you what it's like in the real world.
So yeah, you're right. Like when Gary Busey's saying like, I was sexually harassing these women in a studio, or like they can't put up with me because of my behavior. It's almost making the point that, oh, they're just women, like it's fine. And it's really gross.
Yeah, it's really creepy. And I think that, like, being in this episode, like, I know it probably, like, a couple hours of work for him or whatever, but, like, you would think you'd be like, oh, that's how I'm perceived. Maybe I shouldn't continue to sexually harass people. I mean, aside from it just being morally wrong, I don't want to, like, ruin my career. And yet he went along and did that.
But you got to remember, too, like, Hollywood is, like, the scummiest place. 20 years ago, which seems a long time, but really for us as being 87-year-old men, that wasn't that long ago. Like 2005 to me just seemed like it was, maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of like sexually harassing women, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's the norm. They'll get over it. They're not going to have like psychological problems because of this. And that's like the mentality that people had back then. And it's fucking gross and creepy. Like, really realize it. And like the whole like Me Too movement that happened, I don't know, 2 years ago. Again, in my mind, everything's 2 years ago, but happened like a decade ago. Like it's, kind of like, oh shit, you're right. Like men are scum. Just remember how like shitty men were and still are. It's gross,
It's really gross. And like at the time, it's like, oh, I'll probably have to just like take a seminar or something. And like, it'll be fine. Like not thinking about the damage that you're doing to another human being and just, ugh, yeah, men are gross.
So the next day, Principal Skinner informs Bart that due to the restraining order, there isn't anywhere in the school that he can legally occupy without breaking the law. To bring this point home, Seymour shows a Bart doll made by the AM kindergarten class and a Lisa doll made by the PM kindergarten class, which holds a large spear. So Seymour turns the Lisa doll on, which knocks over the Bart toy, causing it to fall on the ground and shatter. Steve, were you I feel we had this discussion, but real quick, were you at AM kindergarten or PM kindergarten?
I was AM, and when I was working on the notes for this episode, I thought about it, and like, what if I was a PM kid? Would my life just have drastically changed? Like, maybe I'd be a completely different person.
I was also an AM kid.
Yeah, like, imagine, like, maybe the whole course of your life, like a sliding door situation, like, maybe you would, like, be smarter or sexier or, like, more successful because you got to sleep in for a couple hours when you were 5.
Because then you didn't get to come home early and watch, like, daytime soaps or Price is Right.
Mm-hmm. Or that wonderful Chuck Woolery on Love Connection, which I watched when I was a kid for reasons. I don't know why.
I think I got to watch, I think after, like, I got to come home and watch, like, Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. So I think I probably had it better.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they were on usually, like, in the early after, like, but maybe, like, 10 o'clock. How long? Do they still do AM, PM? I guess I'm going to find out in a couple of years. So I'll Steve, put a note in this conversation, and I'll let you know in like 5 years, okay?
Sounds good. I'm typing it now. That'll be interesting to see.
Or here, because it's a podcast.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say that the kindergartner kids of Springfield Elementary, they did good work. Those are good, impressive-looking dolls.
I couldn't do that, Steve.
No. I mean, they did break, so they're not that good.
That's true.
All
right.
Bart isn't allowed to be in the school, and since Bart claims to be someone who would never break the law, he happily obeys, shaking Principal Skinner's hand, inviting him to give him a jingle sometime. And Seymour laughs politely and agrees to call Bart at some point, but then shares that there is one location on school grounds that is outside of the laws of both man and God.
So in the shack of groundskeeper Willie, Bart complains that something smells and that something is dripping on him. So the Scotsman pulls up his pants and says, "Sorry, I just Disney cummed all over you." No, Steve, that's not what happened. You watched a different episode. The Scotsman replies that's the smell of manure, and the dripping is also manure. So then he tells Bart to turn to chapter 1 of Math Safari textbook. Bart argues that he's already at chapter 7, causing the groundskeeper to point a pitchfork at Bart and telling him that he'll be teaching Willie. I like the reference of Math Safari because I kind of remember like everything was like, I think like the textbooks were like Safari. I think Safari was the term.
I feel like there was a big time in the late 80s, early 90s, and even probably into the 2000s of like Safari Jungle being an educational tool for some reason.
Well, it was just showing like, oh, safaris, this sounds like fun.
Learning can be fun because you're seeing animals in the jungle while you're learning math.
And as we all know from the Monk theme song, it's a jungle out there.
That's right. As No One Stands So Close to Me by the Police plays, we see a montage of Bart being kept away from his sister. While Lisa enjoys a meal in the school cafeteria, Bart sits around outside on the curb in the rain holding a slice of pizza. He goes for a bite, but the cheese and the toppings slip off the slice and go down a nearby drain, probably to be enjoyed by the Pennywise the Clown. So Lisa rides in the back of a school bus, while Bart rides a shopping cart tied to the bus, swinging to and fro in the back of the bus all over the street.
Is this the like right song to be playing in this montage?
It's a little weird.
The song's about when Sting, a.k.a.
Gordon Sumner?
Yeah, a.k.a. Gordon Sumner, which I believe was in the song about, like, he was an English teacher, right? And it was about, like, his female students, like, trying to, like, flirt with him.
Yeah, they would write, "I love you" on their eyelids and close it, and then he's like, "This belongs to the museum."
I think that was Henry Jones Jr., Steve.
Oh, okay.
Professor.
I was gonna...
But, at least, like, it's funny that I have been on like a Police/Sting kick recently, like on my Spotify. Just been listening to that. Like my baby's making noises like do 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 da 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 da, and I think of that song do 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 da 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 by the Police. So I played that, and I start like, and then Spotify just playing like the Police songs, and I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to some Police and Sting right now. I don't think that's a problematic song. I know we're not a Police podcast or Sting podcast, but
yeah,
yes, like the female student is like trying to seduce Professor Gordon, but he doesn't like do anything with it.
Yeah, in fact, he's specifically saying, "Don't stand so close to me, like go away, like this is unethical."
And I think that song is progressive for the time because if like you go back to like old 50s, 60s like songs, it's a lot about like young girls and like teenage girls like fall in love with older men.
Yeah, it's like she's 16, she's sweet, and she's mine, or she's only 17.
You know what's so funny? That song specifically, because I went out to the Pluto TV, because they have like music videos like from the 70s and 80s and 90s and on. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I'll just put that channel on to like watch music videos like it's like fucking MTV. And there is Ringo Starr covered "You're 16, You're Beautiful, and You're Mine," which is like the worst fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
And like he covered that song, and in the music video, Carrie Fisher's in it, and she looks like, I think it was like after Star Wars, she was like 22, but still, she looks like she's 15 in the music video next to Ringo Starr, who's like 33 probably.
Yeah,
or older, I don't know, but like that's a creepy fucking song.
It's really weird. Yeah,
that like that young girl, "Get Out of My Mind." It's like, oh, you're so young, get out of my mind because I can't stop jerking off thinking of how young you are.
I can't believe you're underage. It turns me on so much.
And that's our Sting at the end of the episode, guys.
I'd rather have Sting saying "Don't stand so close to me" at the end of that. So.
Yeah. It was at full circle. The song was progressive for the time.
Indeed.
All right. So let's go to a bookstore where Bart looks through the graphic novel section to pursue the latest adventures of Radioactive Man. So using a poking stick that Homer made, Lisa pokes Bart until he finds himself in the gay interest section. So causing laughter from the bullies in the bookstore's cafe because of all the polling, Steve. Bart pays a visit to Dr. Hibbert. And meanwhile, in this clip, Lisa visits Homer at his new job.
I'm afraid your arm has sustained extensive nerve damage. The only cure is this anti-poking potion. Oops, missed the vein. Bang, missed it again. Sorry, I'm distracted. My housekeeper is suing me for sexual harassment. She hung the mistletoe. What was I supposed to do?
I like eating here with you, Dad, especially without "Don't have a cow, man."
Yeah, he's all cowabunga, dude. I mean, what's that mean? Nothing, I bet.
Oh, need more soda.
Homer, would you be interested in the position of executive greeter?
Woohoo! That's been my dream ever since I heard it existed right now. What do I get?
You get to work overtime without us paying you extra.
I won't do it.
If you don't, we'll ship you right back to Mexico.
But I'm a U.S. citizen.
Uh-huh. How sure of that are you?
All right, Steve. Cowabunga. The etymology is unknown, but it was popularized as Cowa-bunga by Chief Thunderthud on the American children's show Howdy Doody in the late 1940s or maybe early 1950s, and became associated with the American surfing culture. So by the early 1980s, it was used as a catchphrase of Cookie Monster on the American television show Sesame Street, and gained popularity with the broader audience after its use on the American cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in late 1880s and early 1990s. I said 1880s, I meant 1980s. Yeah. No mention on this wiki dictionary of Bart.
Huh. I always felt that Michelangelo and Bart kind of shared custody of Cowabunga in the late 80s, early 90s.
But the fact that it's from like the 40s and 50s and essentially kind of like a derogatory, like fake Native American language.
That's pretty bad. Also, I don't remember. I've watched a lot of Sesame Street in my day, and I don't recall Cookie Monster ever saying that. But I guess I could see him saying it.
I don't either. I just read a thing on Wiki Dictionary. So
yeah,
maybe someone edited that and is pulling a boner on us.
We're talking about, things that are problematic. In the clip, we saw Dr. Hibbert. I like the joke about Bart receiving a shot too because of the damage received from poking. And then I like the joke about Hibbert missing because he's distracted or whatever. That's all fun. But then he goes on to pull an Arnold Schwarzenegger and saying that his housekeeper's suing him for sexual harassment and blaming her because she hung mistletoe. I think that this is a thematic thing in this episode that is just ugh. Kind of.
And one of those characters like Dr. Hibbert, he's the doctor, he's the family doctor. The fact that he's just being kind of a creeper. Yeah, I'm not liking this.
It is kind of coincidental, the character that he's based upon.
Oh, hey, Simpsons predicted it. There we go.
There you go.
Have you ever kissed under a mistletoe? I don't even know if I've ever seen mistletoe.
No, I feel like my parents would have mistletoe, never like that. They would just have it in the house during Christmas time, just like a red plant.
Steve, at our company Christmas party this year, let's make sure we get some mistletoe.
All right. A couple other things in that clip. We see a sign outside of Sprawl-Mart that says, "Don't watch 60 Minutes this week," which is a reference to controversies at the time about how Walmart would have workers stay past their hours and not pay them overtime. And I think Walmart is actually not good, but better about that, but other companies still suffer from that. And then also we saw a fake passport with Homer as Homer Sanchez, making him a citizen of Mexico. And it shows him wearing a sombrero and a big bushy mustache, which is not great.
But I think it's for the comedic joke of hey, a stereotypical Mexican man.
Mm-hmm.
But then also again, too timely. This episode is they're going to deport him. And it's we're already in this time of recording, deporting people that aren't criminals and aren't, it's fucked up. America.
It really does. It sucks. I don't care. Just political or not, we're in a bad place. Back in the kitchen of 742 Evergreen Terrace, Marge scrapes potatoes. She just thinks they're neat, while Bart is at his wit's end. He says that whenever he attempts to relax, he's poked. And as he says this, Lisa pokes him in his neck, as well as his back, his pussy, and his crack. He pleads with his sister, asking him to if he can at least finish his milk. But then the poking stick knocks over Bart's glass, spilling milk all over the table. And Marge witnesses this and is dismayed.
So outside of the family court of Springfield Courthouse, a sign shows a smiling marsupial in a vest named Curtis, the custody kangaroo. And inside, Marge makes an impassioned case for her son to be freed of the court order, saying that it's poking the family apart. Judge Causes Harm, once again played by Jane Kasmerick, asks Bart if he has a statement.
Bart claims that Lisa has no sense of humor and suggests that the judge is the same, hence the reason why she became a judge rather than finding a husband. When Judge Harm informs him that she's happily married, Bart wonders if her spouse is blind and deaf. This causes the judge to declare that the restraining order should be increased tenfold, meaning that Bart now must stay 200 feet away from Lisa. The courtroom gasps. Bart gasps when Judge Harm adds that equates to 61 meters. Stereotypical versions of a German, a Frenchman, and a Dutch woman all gasp, which is actually pretty funny, I think.
I'll never know what a meter is, Steve, because I'm an American.
Yeah, a meter is something that Rita reads.
And it falls from dim skies and hurts us planet.
Yep, a meter.
So in the large field that has always been behind the Simpsons, because soon it's going to be a graveyard, Steve.
That's right.
Bart has pitched a tent. No, not a nice, thick, juicy erection. Steve, I was reading what you wrote. Homer apologizes, saying that this is the only place that is far enough from Lisa, but still on their property. And Bart tells his father that it's pretty scary out there, but when he looks around, he finds that Homer has already gone. So in the distance, the wind blows the back door of the house open and shut until Homer wordlessly locks it.
So left alone in the wild of the night, Bart assumes that he is missed by his family. But inside the house, the family gleefully plays a rousing rendition of Herb Alpert's Tijuana Taxi, with Lisa on the sax, obviously, Marge on the trumpet, Homer playing the xylophone, and Maggie honking a bike horn.
Like, I remember this scene. I feel like I've seen it multiple times. Well, did they kind of have a callback earlier from this episode?
No, they do call it back later on in the episode, but I agree with you. I feel like I've seen them play this song before in the same way where Marge is like doing that move, like dancing around. Yeah, it's funny.
Now it's funny, but I bet at the time, like, this is kind of dumb. Like, But I appreciate it now. With all the sexual misconduct in this episode, at least there's some funny things in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, the next morning, Bart emerges from his tent, taking in the birds chirping, the babbling brook, and the general beauty of nature. As he thinks to himself that it could be worse, Marge calls out, informing him that Lisa's over at Janie's, meaning that he has the opportunity to run to the house to use the bathroom, presumably to, take a shit. Bart runs towards his familiar toilet, but then stops, wondering why he has to go inside. After all, the world is his toilet now. That's Elon Musk's presidential campaign slogan in 2028. The world is my toilet. So as Boring For You plays, Bart pulls down his shorts, hangs his huge hog, and urinates to his delight.
So later that evening, a third sign is hung outside of Sprawl-Mart that read, "If you worked here, you'd be poor by now." The manager flips the open sign to closed and locks the door, leaving Homer and his coworkers trapped inside to catch up on all the work that they were just assigned just then. Homer refuses to work overnight, saying that he'd never do that, not even when he worked at an all-night diner, explaining that he slept on the grill.
And there's no flashback. Like, this is such a Family Guy joke. Like, there should be a flashback. Like, Family Guy at least would have flashback to Peter working at an all-night diner, sleeping on the grill.
Yeah, like they would have done like maybe a Waffle House joke and people would fight or something. Like, there's opportunities there, yeah.
Yeah, like Peter be like on the grill with his ass cheeks on the grill, be like, "The moon's over my hammy handle." That's probably as good as a Family Guy joke as I could come up with.
It works. I think I could see that.
So the manager of the big box store swallows the key, and when Homer tries to escape, he is electrocuted by a compliance chip placed in the back of his neck, which was installed during the company physical. Severance, are you stealing the Simpsons bit here?
I'm so glad that you saw that because I thought the same thing.
So Homer tries to take action, but is met by employees who have a different plan.
That's it, mister. I am disgruntled. And up until now, I was relatively gruntled.
Whoa, better increase the juice.
I did it. I pulled it out. And with no brain damage. Now we'll get all your chips out, go to the police, and shut this place down.
Homer, we took our chips out years ago.
Really? Then why do you still work here?
We've learned to accept the things we cannot change, and steal everything that's not nailed down. I hope you won't judge us harshly.
I'll be back for tall kitchen bags.
I like the specificity of Homer not saying garbage bags, but tall garbage bags. Yeah, there's something in the joke. I just adding the word tall. Because we've all been there, like going to the grocery store, like getting garbage bags, and there's like small, tall, and venti.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
The garbage bags are labeled weird.
Mm-hmm. Tall is a big one, and grande is small. It doesn't make any sense.
What about the venti?
It's 20 ounces. It's a very small bag.
And why don't they make all the bags the black box material?
That's right. And so behind the Simpsons household, dogs run wild. Shirtless, Bart joins a pack of canines, running, digging through the trash, play fighting, and while the dogs bury bones, Bart buries his beloved Krusty doll. He then naps with the pile of pooches, kicking his leg up while he dreams. From the kitchen window, Marge witnesses this through her binoculars and asks Lisa if her brother has suffered enough.
Lisa tells Marge that she doesn't intend to be cruel, but whenever she tries forgiveness, she remembers all the bad things Bart has done to her. Marge argues that Bart has done kind things to Lisa as well, but struggles when Lisa asks to name 3. Marge offers that he brought Lisa her homework when she was sick, but Lisa points out that Bart assumed that would be a negative thing. Marge still wants to put that in the plus column, so Lisa thinks back to when her hamster died, and Bart cheered her up by putting a hot dog bun around Homer's penis while he napped. Finger, sorry. And then waking up to tell him he forgot to eat his wiener. Homer bites his own wiener, crying out in confused pain. He takes a second bite and then a third, all resulting in the anguished shouts, and Lisa laughing at her father's pained stupidity. Hey, what about the time Bart got Michael Jackson to write her a song? That's another good one.
Yeah, that's good. And he got her the album, right, X on the Beach. Yeah, we just came up with 2 right now.
Stupid dumb Marge not understanding good things about Bart. It's always the woman's fault.
Exactly. That's the lesson of this episode. Back in the present day, Lisa admits that those are 2 examples of Bart being nice, but that's it. But Marge looks out the window again to see a feral Bart chasing a rat. Later, Lisa complains to herself about Bart and then looks through the Bart binoculars, as binoculars for viewing Bart, and sees something exciting.
Oh, he's building a me. Well, it's a little American primitive, but who am I to dismiss outsider art? It shows he misses me, and this is the 3rd thing!
Please, just let me be. Look in your heart. I'm begging you. Look in your heart.
Bart, don't worry. I'm relinquishing the poke pole.
What does that mean? You're sharpening it? Look in your heart. I'm begging you. Look in your heart.
I'm not sharpening it.
Are you putting feces on the tip?
No, I'm giving it up. I've realized how much I missed you, and I can see from this magnificent Lisa statue that you felt the same way.
Oh, yeah. When you're right, you're right. Let's eat.
Yo, Bart, we're ready to torch the Wicker Witch of the West.
Jimbo, the real one's here.
Oh, man. This is every effigious worst nightmare.
Bart, you were gonna burn the 3rd nice thing you've ever done for me?
I like that Bart doesn't know what relinquish means.
What does it mean, Steve?
Well, I know it doesn't mean sharpening the stick or putting feces on the stick, so I guess it would mean, making the stick go faster somehow?
I relinquished feces on my tip, Steve, for you.
Oh, thank you.
That was your gift for this episode.
Oh, boy. The gift that keeps on giving. Well, I keep on coming.
Hey, speaking of feces, I touched some today. Here we go.
It's a segue if there ever was one.
It wasn't mine, it was my child's, and it was on accident.
That's
So
good.
you have to change a baby's diaper at least once every 6 months, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
And some BC Scott on my finger.
And now he fingers big.
Anyways, chocolate covered pretzels, yum.
So Bart stammers, saying that the fire represents Lisa's musical ability. And Lisa tells Bart that she really missed his lies. And then admits that she's being a bit of a pill. This causes Bart to say that Lisa has poked his feelings. And then he apologizes as well. And Lisa takes a torch from Jimbo, lights the wicker version of herself aflame, and then tosses the broken poking stick along with the restraining order into the fire. The rest of the family comes out playing Tijuana Taxi, and while Bart chases Snowball, we're all happy, and that's our episode. Wow, here we are.
Yeah. Before we go on break, Steve, real quick, can we just bring back calling someone a pill? I love that. Like,
It's really good. Yeah, I like that. Oh, you're such a pill.
What does that even mean? Like, I swallow you? Like, you're hard to swallow, right? Is that what it means?
Yeah, so like if somebody has a big penis, like, oh, you're such a pill.
Or if you're a Erzberry Doughboy, you're such a pill.
There it is, yes.
All right.
And with that coherent joke, let's take a break. Think about what we just saw. We'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Let's finish up our discussion of On a Clear Day, I Can't See My Sister. We'll talk about the things that we liked about it, the things that we didn't like about it, the things that we made us laugh, maybe a most valuable jokester, and we'll find out what we're watching next week. But before we do all of that, we like to, exchange gifts to our fellow co-hosts in the spirit of good nature and kindness, which we could all use more of in the world. So, Craig, I got you a couple of gifts from this episode that I thought you'd appreciate. First of all, I know you get wet sometimes, so I got you an I Got Wood at Sequoia National Park towel. I know you like specificity, so I got you some tall kitchen bags from the Glad Company. And of course, I got you a fancy pole cover to keep your pole looking great. Poke after poke after poke.
Would it surprise you to know that I too got you the I Got Wood at Sequoia National Park towel? But not to be outdone, Steve. Look, I know you're married, and that's great. You got a wife, and you're very happy.
I am.
But, maybe sometimes when she's at work and you're a little lonely and you need some companionship, I got you this nice ice mummy you can do with what you want with.
Ooh, just go along with the baby.
Now, look, she's already been with the Skin Man, so if that's okay with you, you guys can be Eskimo twins. Pun intended. And I'm not allowed to say that word, twins. Sorry.
You've been with the Skin Man. Now I'll be with the Foreskin Man.
Oh, boy. Here's a little feces for your tip.
Thank you. Just a tip.
Oh, look, one more gift. Two more gifts. Of course, the park ranger at the park was named Richard Johnson. So I also got you a towel that says, I got wood from Dick Johnson. I don't have my bits except for the last one here, Steve. While on break, I got you an iced coffee.
Oh, I wanted a nice coffee, but coffee's coffee, so I'll take it. Thank you, Craig. All right, Craig, what made you laugh in this episode?
Speaking of the good old park ranger, Richard Johnson, I'm giving him my MVJ. When we brought up in the podcast that he's got a daughter and he sequesters her, which of course, I would never do that, but like just the line delivery is great. But the fact that he's also married to the Glacier, and we surmise that maybe his daughter is Killer Frost from the DC Comics universe, and him just like being a stud, like getting with Krabappel. I'm giving it to good old Dick Johnson. You get the MVJ. We never talk about things we don't like much because we're trying to be positive on this podcast, and there's a lot of positivity in this. There needs to be a lot of positivity in this world, but I could have done without Gary Busey.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm sure it might have been quote unquote funny at the time, but still, I'm just like, I'm not good with this.
Yeah.
Homer thinking that the garden gnome being Abe, good bit. And when Bart's arrested, the Chief Wiggum scolding everyone in prison from like Lou and Snake and Bart. I like that. Homer freaking out, of course, of his court order date. But yeah, those are some of my favorite things. How about you?
There are like a lot of jokes that I like that are followed by things that aren't good. Like, I liked Hibbert's bit about the shot. He ruined it by saying that he was being sued for sexual assault by his housekeeper, which is like really problematic. I like the name Joe Spaghettio, but like all the Gary Busey-ness around it, I could have done without too. My MBJ is going to go to Bart saying bull spit, winding up to punch Lisa, just that physicality of that is really funny. And then also him acting like a dog, while it was kind of rushed, was kind of cute too. So, yeah, Bart gets it. A lot of jokes that weren't so great in here. But overall, Craig, what are your thoughts on this episode?
You know, when you go online, people complain about who don't really watch The Simpsons like ad nauseum as like we do or our fans do, that just like casually watch The Simpsons, like, oh, The Simpsons hasn't been good since season 9 or 8 or 10. And then they bring up like, oh, it's just the same dumb jokes. I tend to maybe agree with those trolls because like in this era of The Simpsons make fun of it. You know, when it's like Homer just has like without any warning, like Homer has a job as a greeter at Sprawl-Mart. It's just insert Homer here into job. We've seen this before of like him doing different jobs, and sometimes they poke fun of it, and sometimes they don't. The idea of Lisa emancipating herself from Bart or a restraining order, you probably can't do that. It just seems like illogical.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's usually like restraining orders are for like more abuse, like actual abuse.
And we've seen Bart himself like emancipate himself from the family. And I kind of talked about earlier, like Bart says on the, during the nice trips he last fall bit, he even brings up like, yeah, I do this bit because if you see me do this, like you can keep seeing me do this. Like it just feels like The Simpsons at this point in season 16 are like saying, we're tired, we're bored, or you've seen this joke, we're just gonna kind of just go through the motion of this. Like that's why they're not explaining why he's not at his real job. Oh, I forgot to mention the greater greet with Marge. That was probably my favorite joke, but remember that. I'm looking at my notes here real quick. I'm not down with this episode. It's definitely just this is where we're at in season 16 on The Simpsons, and I could definitely feel the internet nerd raging. I've been like, The Simpsons used to be good. But we've liked some of the bad episodes, like Beyond Blunderdome or Battlesword Galactica, which is considered a worst episode, but we kind of enjoyed it, or the Florida episode. But those at least had like memorable things. This one just kind of throw it in the ocean, and it's part of the ocean. It's just another wave. Like I'm not going to remember much except for Greater, because I remember that, and then the mariachi with The Simpsons. Again, it's a short episode too because they dropped in that intro. Anyways, I think that's kind of my thoughts. If I gave it a review, they talk about the glacier, Springfield Glacier, the largest glacier in the world right now, as of now, of this record, is the Lambert Glacier. It's in East Antarctica, and it's only 20 centimeters long because of global warming. No. It's about 50 miles wide and 250 miles long and about 8,200 feet deep. So it's called the Lambert Glacier. And when I think of the name Lambert, I think of the Walt Disney animated short film directed by Jack Hanna called Lambert, the Sheepish Lion. In that, a stork delivers a flock of newborn lambs to their mothers, but finds that he had mistakenly brought along a lion named Lambert to the lambs. And coincidentally, that stork is the same stork that delivers Dumbo. And as we all know, Dumbo was another animated Disney film, but also remade into a live-action film in 2019, directed, of course, by Tim Burton. And if you look on Dumbo at Rotten Tomatoes, it's one of the few movies where the tomato meter from reviewers and the popcorn meter from the fans very similar. 46% from the tomato meter and 47% from the popcorn meter. So if I give this episode out of those scores, I'm giving this episode a nice 13. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I think you made a lot of very salient and intelligent points. At this time in The Simpsons, I kind of feel like they were doing this thing where they'd open up the newspaper or turn on the TV and be like, what are words that are popular now? And they're like, oh, Walmart and restraining order. let's do something with that. And yeah, they just kind of throw an episode together based on like things that are in like the cultural zeitgeist and then just call it good. And this episode, I think, is a glaring example of that. Like, so many jokes I feel like we've done before, like even Homer's brain damage. I think they've done that material before. Marge's Spoonerism, the Tijuana taxi mariachi thing, like all of this, it feels familiar and not in like a comforting way, but more in like a, okay, yeah, fine, whatever way. I don't in any way forgive like the sexual harassment of the whole episode, but I will say it might be a victim of its time, but still it looks really bad when you watch it through today's eyes, and even then it's not great. Yeah, this episode isn't awesome to me. There were some bits and pieces that were kind of funny, but ultimately I just did not really like this episode. Even like from a character standpoint, like Lisa's a real jerk or a real pill in this episode. Maybe the nerds for once are right. This is a bad episode of The Simpsons, I think. I'm going to say Bart had to stay 200 feet away from Lisa, and I'm going to say stay 200 feet of this episode, but that's not my score because I wanted to involve Walmart, so I wanted to look up, 60 minutes in Walmart to see if I get some more information. So I Googled or Binged Walmart 60 minutes, and I was linked to a 60 minutes hourglass that is heart-shaped crystal. It's a sand timer with a gift box, and it goes for $23.99. And so out of $23.99, I'm going to give this episode $4.99. And now, Craig, you mentioned that we liked other episodes of this era, like Beyond Blunderdome or the Florida episode. And the thing that I think stands apart is this episode had a problematic guest like Gary Busey, unlike those two, which had Kid Rock and Mel Gibson. So we were at the clear.
Mel Gibson is the ambassador to Hollywood, and Kid Rock is probably going to be receiving the Kennedy Center Honors or the Mark Twain Prize next year. One of those.
Secretary of State Rock to you.
Well, can't win them all, Steve, right?
That's true, and we didn't win one this week, but maybe next week we will be a little bit better with what we're watching. And once again, we don't have a new episode, so we're going to have to get out our old friend, the Wheel of Random, to give it a spin. So let's do that. Let's give it a spin to see which season we're in. Ba-doop. Alrighty, we have season 32.
Oh boy.
Yeah, season 32. We're in the more recent era. So let's give it another spin to see which episode we're watching. Ba-doop. Alrighty, we have episode 13, season 32, episode 13. Craig, what do you think the title of this episode is?
All right, Steve. As you know, we like to connect this episode we reviewed with next week's episode because that's how it works. And of course, we're never correct. And in this episode, we had a guest appearance from actor Gary Busey, which we found to be very deplorable. But that being said, I think next week's episode is a play on one of Gary Busey's movies. And it is that time of the year when the old America's Pastime is in spring of training and will soon be in season. That's right, baseball. He's in one of the great kids sports movies. I guess it's a kids sports movies. Rookie of the Year. And I think this episode is a parody of that title called Cookie of the Year.
Oh, I like the sound of that. It makes me wonder, is it about baking? Is it about a real estate agent? I don't know, and I will never know, because that's wrong, Craig. I regret to inform you, you are completely wrong, but I'll give you the title. It is Wad Goals. Now, what do you think this episode's all about? Wad Goals.
All right. So it's season 32, so it's kind of a more recent episode, and I feel like at this time, like season 32, like Simpsons are trying to like pull a lot of viewers in as they can. So Bart discovers pornography for the first time, and one of his favorite male pornography stars is, of course, Pete North, who is famous for his huge loads. So Bart DMs Pete North to come to Springfield and teach him how to shoot wads of ejaculate.
Disney, if you will.
Yeah, Disney come. And in the B story, Lisa takes up crocheting with Jamie.
Oh, that's sweet. I mean, I will say that one of the songs featured it is Cream by Wu-Tang Clan, so maybe you're right, but I don't think so, because the synopsis that I have is Bart becomes a successful caddy, but Marge worries it is ruining his character. Craig, do you have any memory of this episode?
I think I just watched it, not within the past weeks or days, but on again on the FXX background. But I hope that was where I saw it, and we haven't reviewed this yet.
To my knowledge, it does not sound familiar, but I see the title all the time, but I don't think we've ever watched it. So I'm excited to check it out, and I'm excited to have you check it out, listeners, and thank you for listening. And hey, if you want to reach out to us, you can. You can reach us on the socials, like your YouTube, your Instagram, or your threads at 13simpsons, or you can always email us at 13simpsons@gmail.com.
And don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you listen to. Leave us 5 stars or the equivalent, but you don't have to leave us an actual review. No, you can just tell us who you would like to put a restraining order on.
Very nice. And hey, if you want to go get yourself some great things that people want to come to you, not away from you, go to tpublic.com/user/annoyedrunkboys and get yourself some great Annoyed Drunk Boy swag. We've got a whole kinds of 138 Simpsons podcast shirts, including our latest and greatest, the Bored in the USA shirt. So check that out. And hey, thanks for listening. All right, for this week, I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And remember, busword to adventure.
Your mom and dad are powerless figureheads.